Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Today is Thursday, June 13th, and the Premier Lacrosse League is coming home to the Mecca of lacrosse. We've got 4 games going down this weekend at Villanova University, right outside of Philly. I'm Jordy from Barstool. With me, as always, we've got Dukes on the mic. We'll also be joined by intern Ness a little bit later on. He's dealing with some technical difficulties, some Wi-Fi issues. But Dukes, how we feeling this week? Coming off of a huge performance out of you down in Charlotte at week 2 of the PLL, week 1 of the Bar Down Lounge.
Yeah, most impressive performance of the weekend in Charlotte. No one else comes to mind. Not anyone with the initials BO, but Charlotte was a great city. Great Bar Down Lounge, great vibes, great crowd, real home field advantage for the first time that I witnessed. So it was really cool to see. It's the first lacrosse game where I felt like home field advantage at the pro level. So I don't know, very, very, very cool, very, very fun. Love the city, love the vibes. But yeah, I got nothing else on that end. But overall, great weekend.
The only time I've ever been in Charlotte is during a layover. I've never spent any time in Charlotte. I'm sure it's a great time. Anywhere down in the Carolinas just seems like a nice, easygoing spot. Some of the pictures and videos I saw of Chaos fans, they look like they were a rambunctious bunch, right. Which is, I think obviously one, the team name. 2, the team identity and Andy Towers and everything that, I think that really lends itself to having absolute maniacs of a fan base. I could see the Carolina Chaos fan base becoming the Raiders fans of the PLL.
Yeah. And I like the fact that the Hounds fans kind of bought in to being now Chaos fans, that the merger from the MLL to the PLL, they're buying into the Chaos hype. I gotta say though, NLL Twitter sucks. Box Twitter just blows. These Hounds fans got I was oh, lacrosse is making it when you got grown ass adults dressing up ridiculous outfits for lacrosse games. People oh no, this guy's existed before, blah 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 blah. It's dude, why do you have to ruin a cool thing? Just be yeah, we're glad he's finally getting recognition.
It's you're saying a good thing about them, and they're pissed off that you didn't say the
good thing. Like a gotcha moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. You know why I didn't know them? Because the ML did a really bad job at marketing them.
So yeah, it's that you guys are getting so mad about the wrong thing. Right. Yeah, I don't know. There's never been, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe there's a part of my life that I'm missing out on. There's never been anything that's driven me to want to.
On face paint,
dress up, put on face paint, and get that into it. It looks exhilarating, part of me wishes that I had something like that in my life. So yeah, Chaos fans look like they were having a great time, and obviously the Chaos had a pretty decent weekend. They went 1-1 on the weekend. I think as long as you grab one game during your homecoming, that's fine. You're playing 2 games in the same weekend. It's always going to be tough to win both of them. If you can win both in the same weekend, it's incredible. So going 1-1 and having that one loss coming against the Atlas, who are the best team on the planet right now. Not a bad go for them. So anything else? Well, Bar Down Lounge, it looked like people were getting after it, which is always great to see.
If you want to quickly, I know it's Thursday, but just a quick recap of the games, just right.
Yeah, we're a little deep into the week to do full recaps, but this is our first time having a episode since Brennan O'Neill had the. I'd say the best, probably the best quarter. I'd say a top 10 quarter of lacrosse ever played.
And I was on Archer's -2.5, and it was the first time that I felt the Brennan O'Neill experience, being holy shit, Luke Weirman's winning every single face-off. My bet is getting fucked. I'm getting fucked, and I can do absolutely nothing about it. Here's intern Nest. But yeah, it's just the Brennan O'Neill experience in real life, in real time. And he just reminded him, remembered, he's oh shit, I'm bigger, faster, stronger, and better at lacrosse than these people. And I don't have a college offense or coach holding me back. And I could just do whatever the fuck I want. He just kind of remembered that in the fourth quarter, went off. What a game. It shows you also that any given week, anybody can win. And I've said this in the PLL, the worst team and the best team. The worst team could always beat the best team on the best day on any day. So that was one thing. Do you want to get into? I think the Chaos are really good. I'm high on the Chaos. I'm buying the hype.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Chaos are a really solid team. I think, Austin Count did a great job filling in for Blaze for those 3 games that he's had to fill in for. He was able to steal another win for them against the Redwoods with a little bit of help from Matty Palem and not resetting the shot clock there at the end. We can talk a little bit more about that. Anyone is going to have a hard go again against the Atlas. I think once you put Blaze back in there, and that's obviously nothing against Austin, but Blaze Reardon's the best goalie in the world, so you add that to the mix. I think who they just picked up somebody, so they're loading up on like the speediest guys in the world. They already had Minikis, they already had Ross Scott. I think that they just might have added someone else in free agency where it's like the same exact guy. Either way, as we looked that up, they're going to
Braden Maia from High Point.
Okay, yeah. So maybe not as much as like the same guy as Minikis and Ross Scott, but still, just a little slinky guy who, finds a way to get open. Anyone who watched those High Point games with, because he was a young kid out there when Asher was balling, and High Point was definitely a team to watch. So I think adding him to the mix, like they just have a bunch of guys who find ways to get lost out there, make stuff happen. And then, you have the identity. You have guys like Ian McKay who are going to be a pain in the ass every time you play against them. Even Kyle Jackson, who's like the sweetest guy in the world, is going to be mixing it up out there. So they're going to piss you off. They have good goal scorers. They have a great defense. They have 2 of the best goalies out there. So yeah, I think that the Chaos are definitely going to be one of those final teams playing this season. I think that they've got pretty much anything that you can ask for, except for maybe like a premier. Listen, Josh Byrne, Jules Henningberg, like I think that they're both unbelievable talents. I think that Josh Byrne, for what he does in the outdoor game and what he does in the indoor game, definitely one of the best players in the world. But I think but I think when we're talking about like strictly PLL, I don't know if they have like a top 8 player in the league.
I disagree with that. I think Josh Byrne's like top 5.
I put him in that 5 to 8 range.
Yeah, maybe I'm higher.
I don't have him top 5. I have him in that 5 to 8 range. Either way, like I don't know how many times the Chaos are going to play. Listen, Blaze is up there, so yeah, they are always going to have one of the best players on the field. But I just think like on the offensive side of things, Josh Byrne is incredible. Like just something, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's a long season between the NLL and the PLL where it's like eventually something's going to catch up to them. I just like don't have them having all the like a top guy on the offensive side of the ball. And I could be wrong there. Maybe that's just recency bias.
So I think Josh Byrne's up there. I think that eventually Shane Noblock will be a player that turns into like one of the best midfielders in the world.
Before we even get too far to make this a social clip, because like I don't want the clip to cut off. I do want to come back and say like I'm not a Josh Byrne guy. Like that's not what that take was at all. I'm a big Josh Byrne guy, but I think that there are just other guys that are like
it's okay. Not be a Josh Byrne
half a step above. I'm a Josh Byrne guy. I'm a huge Josh Byrne guy.
The clip's already out, Jordy. Yeah. It is what it is.
Starting the clip right now. Jordy is not a Josh Byrne guy. Thanks, Jordy. He's down.
Right, I'm gonna clip the clip, and this is gonna be on there where I'm a huge Josh Byrne guy.
No, but I think obviously Josh Byrne. I have always thought he's like top 5 player in the world. I think Shane Noblock will get there, but I get what you're talking about, the gist of them not having a like Tom Schreiber. That makes sense to me. But what I think why I'm so high on them, and I think I finally figured out how I can tell what a good team is to like a bad team and how we're going to tier them. PLL finally figured it out with the playoffs. There's only 6 teams getting in, so 2 teams are out. If you're a playoff team, I think you're good. Like I'm high on you this year. I think it's a fair way because it's only 8 teams, 6 teams make it. Why I'm high on the Chaos is mostly because of their defense. The way that they played against the Atlas, like yeah, the Atlas are all worlds. no disrespect to Austin Count, I do think that Blaze makes that game, like even in a close game, even closer. I think Blaze is the difference, maybe in that being like a 1-goal game. Like I don't think Blaze is giving up 15. And I think that just the way that they play defense, I think that they have 2 defenders. And credit to Newman. I think Newman doesn't get credit enough for how good of a defender he's become in the league. And I think Jack Rowlett and Will Bowen are 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates at one point. So I think they're stacked on the defensive end, the way that they play defense, don't really slide. And like the short stick D middies have always kind of been there for them, but like Zach Geddes, you're talking about just a straight up short stick D midi that like on the defensive side of things and the speed, fucking ridiculous. But that's what I want to give Carolina some flowers in that regard. And then obviously like we don't even need to get into the Atlas. The Atlas are so fucking good. Jeff Teet's a wizard. Xander Dixon, they better not fucking move out that attack line if Peyton Cormier comes back. And Doc Aiken's playing like he's the best midfielder in the world.
Yeah, the Atlas are a scary team. I think this year, more than any, we're going to have a tough time ranking those top 6 teams. Dukes, I know you like that cutoff at 6 with the playoffs, but I think there's only one team that has stuck out as underperforming so far, in my personal opinion. That's the Whips.
Yeah, okay, going off that though, it's a good segue. I said this. Okay, they're not playing like the old Whips, but are we gonna have a verdict on them for them losing to, in my opinion, 2 really good teams?
No.
I think I can make an argument for both the Atlas and the Cannons being a top 3 team.
I mean, but like there are only 8 teams, so like you can't say like they're not because they lost to 2 really good ones. It's like, all right, how many teams can they lose to before you're like, okay, that like they should have won that game? Until it's like, okay, they're bad. Like what games out there would the Whips lose to, and you'll be like, okay, Outlaws, you know what, that was actually a bit. Okay, so what do we got coming up here for the Whips? Let's look at their upcoming. So they got Water Dogs this week. They've got Atlas and Mini going to Boston. They've got the Archers. Then you've got all right. So Whips.
Again, you know what? They might be
fair. San Diego. All right. So they don't play. So they play the Redwoods when we get to San Diego. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So week 7. And then you got the Water Dogs again. 8, 9. Yeah. So week 7 and 9 they have until, that's a tough stretch. But, I think they did it. Did they do it last year too? Or did they win 1 game before the All-Star break last year?
Yeah, something like that. So,
I mean, you go 0-5 heading into the All-Star break, come out in Fairfield, you still have another tough sled ahead of you against the Cat. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just pretty easy to, once you're down, you're kind of down. Like it's a tough hole to climb out of.
Yeah. Again, this like we just saw with the Outlaws. Any given Friday or Saturday, Sunday, anything can happen in this league. Just talent's there. They could definitely start off rough though. Yeah, I thought that they'd kind of forgot like this scheduling thing with the teams, but they could be in trouble for sure.
And it hasn't even been particularly close. Like that game, it's a 17-13 final for the Atlas over the Whips in week 1, which is way closer. That they were getting shit pumped. They were getting hammered out there. So that's not even like 17-13 is not even doing it justice. And then
they came all the way back in that. Once Burnlor came out of that game, Burnlor spotted them 8 goals. Not to say that they wouldn't have had like at least like 5, but he didn't save a thing. The first 8 shots went in.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, Krebs gets you 14 saves against the Cannons, but like, is he really a guy like you're gonna?
I think Burnlor's going back in.
Really? I thought Burnlor. I kind of thought maybe it was Krebs' spot now. Like I think it's until Krebs kind of collapses. I think they ride him.
I don't know. I think at some point though, Burnlor is, once he gets going and once he's seeing shots and once he's out of like the high school coaching mode, he is, when he's hot or like when he's consistently playing, one of the best goalies in the world.
I don't know. I just think, that you're getting that defense isn't giving you anything. The goaltending is like whatever. So goaltending's whatever. Defense isn't giving you anything. Like, yeah, like you're probably gonna win a decent amount of face-offs, so at least you'll get possessions back that way. But like once you start kind of getting down and like in that third quarter in week 2, like just once that kind of starts to avalanche away from you, then like every possession you have from there on, like everyone's like trying to force a play, like trying to have like something to get you back into it. And like when you're not getting that, and then you're going down and not getting a save to at least like get a little bit, like it's just, I don't know. I think it's a tough way to go about a summer, where you could see some guys start to be like, yeah, you know what, like whatever, we're cooked this year and we'll restart next year. Maybe some guys will be some moving pieces, but I don't know. I think it's really easy for the season to get away from the Whip Snakes with the way that schedule's worked out.
Yeah, I think they'll win some of those games, though. I guess that's just where I'm at. I think that, like, I still believe in that defense. Ajax is just coming in for Bryce Young, so I don't think it's going to be like that hard of a transition. I think missing Mike Earhart, obviously, on the wings has been huge, but I don't know. They picked up Levi Anderson. We'll see if he can give them any juice. I don't know. Like,
dude, it seems like you're a little trigger shy right now to really hate a team.
No, I hate two teams. I do not. I think I kind of said that.
The Woods.
I think I don't think I'm not high on the Outlaws at all. They played 7 shitty quarters and people want to suck them off because Brennan O'Neill went off. Unless Brennan O'Neill plays that way every single quarter for the rest of the year, like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable saying Outlaws are not making the playoffs. And I also don't think the Redwoods are going to make the playoffs. I think that, like, the 6th spot is in between the Redwoods and the Whip Snakes.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I agree with that.
Which, and honestly, as I'm saying that, I don't know the way with like the scheduling how like it's going to shake out because like I don't know with the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. I have to look into it. Maybe the Redwoods are more safe than the Whip Snakes because the way like one team from each conference goes out. Because like if there's one team from each conference that's out, then I will say that I think right now Whip Snakes are cooked in the East.
So is it the top 3? Do we know if it's the top 3 from each?
I would imagine that's got to be it,
right?
There'd be no need to have the conferences if it weren't.
Yeah, so
right.
It'll probably be a battle between the Outlaws and the Woods in the West. So one of those teams likely will be the one getting the boot since they're in the same conference.
Right.
I thought the Woods kind of looked good in their one game. I feel like it's tough when they've only played one, but I don't know. I was a little high on them on their draft too. We've been opposite on this, so they have a cursed. You know me.
we do know you. And listen, I mean, that it could have been a win for them in Charlotte had Matty Palem and crew gotten that shot clock reset right. Late in the game, I think Rob Pinnell rings one off of Austin Coutts' head, goes out of bounds, and for some reason the officiating crew there didn't notice that it hit off Coutts' head, so they didn't immediately call the shot clock reset. 2, they had the ability to go back and take a look at it and make sure that they got the call right, but they said no to that. So definitely a botched job there from Matty Palem and crew, which is becoming quite the theme every time that Matty P's on the field. So, I mean, he's becoming more and more of a story for the wrong reasons, which you absolutely hate to see. But yeah, I mean that no shot clock reset on that one. Redwoods end up, losing possession. Chaos are able to get another possession, run out the time on that one, pull away with a 1-goal win. That's a big difference maker. And I'm also not high on the Redwoods, so I'm not like upset about that. I know that there are a lot of people that were real pissed off about the way that one ended. Like, I'm not a Redwoods guy, so I could give 2 shits. I'd rather see Austin Count get a win. But it's just a scary dilemma that the PLL is dealing with right now, where the refs are just way they're out to lunch every game.
Anything, Dukes?
No, I think the fact that one was up to the discretion of one man and he didn't make that call and he's like, no, it doesn't need to be reviewed. Like, he deserves to get shit on. It's not like a call on the field where, what are you smirking over there for?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like I'm not a ref guy, and kind of seems like you're a ref guy, and Jory's.
I'm not a ref. Oh, you're not a ref guy because you body tackle people in the field.
Yeah, but like you're like always coming to you're Matty P's like biggest defender. At least
I'm not. I think that Matty P just gets shit on because you're the only ref. Name another ref in the league.
I don't know another ref in the league.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And again, it's because Matty Palem's been like talked about. People know him. He's in like the college game. He's in the pro game. When someone misses a call in the pro game, who's going to get like laughed at and ridiculed? Matty P. That's it.
Fair.
If somebody else misses a call, that's my whole point.
Here's the thing. Head coaches get shit on all the time. They're not the ones out there playing, but they're the ones who are in control of everything. And that's Matty Palem's crew. He's the one who's in control of everything. If his guys miss it, it ultimately comes back to him. Right. The greatest leaders always point the first finger at themselves.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I think Matty P's okay if you're shitting on him.
Fair. I do think like maybe, and listen, I don't know what the league financials are looking like these days. So like maybe we don't need to be throwing any more money at any more officials, but like I do think that there's gonna come a time where you might want to start rotating some more guys through, but that's a different conversation for another time. Obviously the biggest story of the weekend though was Brennan, and we touched on it briefly. Anything that you look like you're still a little hot on Matty P?
No, I forget what I was even going to say in regards to, he blew the call.
Fair enough. Just real quick, one last thing that I'll touch on Brennan is, listen, he's a sick son of a bitch. There's a reason why he went first overall. The one thing I want to say is like anyone who like takes us saying that, at least myself, Dukes, Ness, I forget exactly what your stance was on this, but like anyone who thinks that like us saying that we would have taken Shelley first overall means that we were shitting on Brennan is an absolute idiot. Like they're both generational talents for different reasons. And, I think that Shelley is an unbelievable fit for that Atlas offense, but I think like Brennan has the ability to just completely take over games like he did in that fourth quarter. And Charlotte, a game that I went to bed early on that one, hand up on me. That's a my bad, but an 8:30 start on a Friday night. Like I was, I think the game was 13-7 maybe heading into the fourth quarter. I said, all right, great. Like I'm able to get a little bit of shut eye here. I wake up, everyone be like, bad take. You fell asleep. And lo and behold, Brennan O'Neill, he had 6 points in the fourth quarter and then finishes it off with the overtime game winner. That's the guy that everyone thought that he would be when he committed to Penn State in 8th grade. That's the guy everyone thought he would be when he flipped his commitment to Duke his junior year. And that's the guy that everyone thought he'd be when he came into Duke and just, completely took over games and took over college lacrosse. Wasn't able to get a national championship. Those are, they're pretty difficult to win unless you're, a Kavanaugh. But yeah, an unbelievable performance out of him. And, I think that's the one saving grace that Outlaws fans have to look forward to this year. It's going to be tough sledding for them for most of the summer, but you put the ball in his stick enough times, he's going to heat up and he's going to steal you a couple of those games.
Yeah. And anyone that's shitting on you, it's like, yeah, the two really good basketball players are the two really good lacrosse players are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Shelley
you guys must be sick. Brennan's having a great. You guys are probably furious. Brennan's having no, man. We said he was really good the whole entire time. We just said that the other guy who's really, really good is also really, really, really good.
You can still make the argument that they should have drafted Shelley.
Yeah. Anything else before we head into Philly week?
Yeah, I got one thing.
Yep.
I got one thing. Let me see it really quick. Cannons beat the Whipsnakes, and the one thing I want to say, Colin cursed. I don't know if I should I don't believe it. Like I'm not saying he is, and I'm not saying, but I think if you're talking about like a conversation wise, he should be in that conversation for top 3 goalie in the world.
Yes, I agree with you.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Same. It's what he does. He's as honed as he's going to get. He's in his prime. So let him do his thing.
Big one this weekend. Last time that he played the Water Dogs, he got shelled.
That's very true. I'll be boots on the ground for that one in Philly. Wear your Cabrini gear, everyone.
Yeah, I will. I'll also be at at one of the games in Philly this weekend. I was really hoping that I would be at 0 of the games this weekend in Philly. I was hoping that I'd be at Penn State coaching for a Pennsylvania state championship. Unfortunately, our boys came up just a little short. State semifinals against LaSalle College High School, just absolute powerhouse of a program there. Tony Resch, assistant coach there. So Tony Resch, one of the all-time great guys in lacrosse. And right now I can't stand the guy. He's fucking so nice too. So I'll be at that first game for sure on Saturday, as we've got the Water Dogs making their homecoming against the Boston Cannons. Feels great, as a guy the kid who grew up going to Philadelphia Barrage games at Villanova Stadium. A lot of great Barrage versus Cannons matchups that went down at Villanova. I have to say, like, anyone who's heading there for the first time to watch a pro lacrosse game, like, it's the perfect venue for it. It's perfect size for it. Great location for it. It's like where they've been having the championship with, sometimes the PPL Center, or at some point it's been like the Talent Energy Center, where the Philadelphia Union play in Chester. Cool stadium and everything like that, but like, you got to go to Chester for it, which, like, I don't really think anyone from Chester is listening to this podcast right now, so we're okay on this one. Like, Chester's an absolute shithole, so it's like annoying to go there. The Link is an awesome venue for championship weekend, but like, it's a massive stadium, so it's gonna look like pretty empty. Villanova is the perfect, it's the best of both worlds, because you have a smaller stadium, so the game feels a little bigger when you have more, a fuller capacity. Also, it's like right in the heartland of like where Philly lacrosse is all played, like right on the main line there. So you got, pretty much, quick, easy drive for, everyone in the area who plays lacrosse. So I think the stadium's going to show out for sure this weekend, and that first game's going to be great. Ness, you'll be there all weekend. I know Frank the Tank and Dana Beers will also be at the Bardell Lounge, correct, Dukes?
Yeah. Frank the Tank will be in the flesh.
So I mean, what more of a promo do you need to get your ass to Villanova this weekend than Frank the Tank at the Bardell Beer Lounge?
Exactly. And look, he can win his first championship in a while with the Atlas, obviously, with the way they're playing ball. So we'll see. I know Frank's excited for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's just get into these games real quick. We got Cannons taking on the Water Dogs. That's going to be Saturday, 12:30 p.m. That'll be on ABC proper. Dukes, we got any lineage on this one? Hashtag DK partner.
This is basically a 50-50 on the money line, minus 115 for both. But the favorite on the spread is Water Dogs minus 1.5. You can get some juice on that, plus 120. Or you can get Cannons plus 1.5 for minus 150. If I was going to make a pick on this one, I'm going with the Cannons. You don't know what they're going to do with the rosters. Have the rosters been released yet? They should be released pretty soon. But they have Tucci, who I think played pretty well, pretty scrappy, pretty athletic. At the face-off, Water Dogs don't trust anybody. It'll be closer than I think, obviously, like going up against someone like Sis for the Water Dogs. But what it comes down to for me is who's going to be at the game on Saturday. Mr. Second Place, Max Delente. So I have to go with the Cannons in this one. I think these are two, in my opinion, they were my number 1 and 2 going into this year. So I'm very high on both these teams. And, just because I think if the Water Dogs drop this, I don't think it's put a damper on the season. I just think that this is two really good teams going at it. So I'm going with the Cannons.
Listen, it's a really good pick. The way that the Cannons played last week, they looked phenomenal. I watched that little flick from Asher to Marcus behind the cage like 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I don't know like what it like. I was just like so entranced by like just how nonchalant of an assist that was from Asher. I think that he just keeps playing. Like every time he plays, I'm like, dude, like how is this guy one of the best players in the world? Like he's a barrel. He gets to his spots. He's got like buttery soft hands. Like he's really kind of, listen, Matt Rambo all time, like one of the great, but like Asher's like got that Matt Rambo to his game, but
Jokic.
also Silkage as well. Like it like that little piece that like Matt's game was missing is like everything that Asher has. So I think that he's playing great. I think Marcus, I mean, holy shit, the corner that he stung in that game with Charlotte, just one of like the all-time sounds of lacrosse. Which I did a little bit of digging here. I was trying to figure out what type of nets the PLL uses because you usually only get like that loud of a ping off of the Gilman goals. Turns out that they use wolf goals, which is a little bit of a kind of like a thuddier ping as opposed to that high pitch that you get with the Gilman goals. So like that sound that Holman corner splash made was just unbelievable. Sent a nice little shiver up my spine. So Marcus is playing great. Asher's playing great. Cursed between the pipes is great. That defense is great. But home field advantage, right? It's
Right.
homecoming for the Water Dogs. If things start to get a little dicey, like I'll be there for this game, so I'll have to kick Max out, just get him out to kind of change the vibes. But I'm sure that Sowers is also a kid who grew up going to those Philadelphia Barrage games at Villanova. Like this is going to be a big one for him, and I feel like he's a guy who mostly rises to the occasion. I think that Dylan Ward might have not had his greatest showing early on in that game, week 1. I think that, he's had a couple more weeks to kind of get himself back into the flow and feeling the 6x6 as opposed to the, whatever a box net is, probably 4x4. So I'm sure that he'll be back in there. Yeah. It's not like you're going up against Sis. So I'm going to go the Water Dogs win this one, but it'll be tight. I don't love the 1.5. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
Water Dogs money line, but 1 goal game.
Next, before you go, I also just want to note this is a rematch of the PLL Champ Series. These teams fucking hate each other. 17-6 blowout in the semifinals last year. I think they split the season series. So these teams are pretty evenly matched. Matt Kavanaugh the last time won the game winner in overtime. So just to take note, I mean,
a lot of greasy shots too.
Right,
greasy head hunting. Sowers.
And I'll say this is, now they have Courier and stuff back. And last time they took out Sowers, I think they took out maybe Trainer on the crease. I forget exactly who it was on the Water Dogs during the Champ Series. But Big Cat said if the Water Dogs sweep and win a fight, bar tab paid for. If they get into a fight, it's going to be against the Cannons. So that's something to watch out for. I think there's a lot of bad blood. That's why I was very 50-50 on who to pick. And in this one, I had to go against what I thought everybody else was going to do. I think that's really where I'm at. But, yeah, it should be a great game. I do think this is a 1-goal game, maybe even overtime.
I think there's one or two things are going to happen. One, Colin Kurtz is going to have an unbelievable game. Like you said, he didn't have his best showing last time he played the Water Dogs in the actual PLL season last year. Got a little bit of redemption in the Champ Series. Looking for a huge game out of him. Just a note over on DraftKings for those who are Colin Kurtz fans, over 14.5 saves. The way I think this game's going to go, the way I think the face-off X is going to be a little bit more of a battle. I mean, the Water Dogs have won 7% of their face-offs in the one game they played, but we'll see. However, I like Kurtz over saves. I love Cannon's money line. I don't like going against the Water Dogs. I like that squad, Barstool squad. Love Sowers. I'm a Scarpello guy, but when you play the Cannons, I got to do what I got to do. So I'll be backing Kurtz and the boys. So I'll be on the over saves.
All right, then we got a pretty big break going on from there. So a 12:30 game to start things off. Then we have to wait until 7 p.m. On ESPN Plus. We've got the Archers taking on the Chaos. So a little Saturday Night Lights at Villanova. Dukes, hit us with the numbers heading into this game.
Yeah, that's Utah -1.5, Chaos +1.5, kind of even -110. Get Chaos money line +124 or Utah Archers -160. Archers looking for a bounce back. So are the Chaos off the homecoming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, just letting that fourth quarter go, the way that the Archers did. And listen, it could have happened to anyone, right? It's Brennan O'Neill. So, no not too much that the Archers could have done there, but I think Brett Dobson's going to want a huge bounce back game. We're going to get Blaze back, I believe, between the pipes for the Chaos. I think that's the way that's trending. So, we'll kind of have to see where he's at health-wise, how he's feeling. Maybe that first step, maybe stepping to the ball is going to be a little tricky for him. So Archers have a lot of slick shooters, can kind of move him around in the net a little bit. So I like Archers coming out on top of this one.
Yeah, I like the Chaos in this one. Talk about a team defensively in the Archers that I think did lose a lot of pieces from last year, and they're still kind of figuring it out. They played great in that first half against the Water Dogs in week 1. But in week 2, you saw them kind of collapse in the fourth quarter. They haven't put together a full game for me to be thoroughly impressed yet. I think the Chaos, they have some Canadian defenders. I think that with Josh Byrne, I don't know. In my head, I think the Chaos offense can kind of eat depending on how Dobson plays. And on the opposite end, yeah, you got Blaze back. I'm betting on Blaze being healthy, not just being 70%. But even if so, your guy Austin Kaut, homecoming. So I'm kind of talking myself into that. I like the Chaos,
and kind of it is a little bit of a home game for Blaze as well. I mean, he's made his home in Philly ever since coming over to the wing, so he's big Philly guy, so easy enough for him. So yeah, I mean, listen, I think that this is going to be a really tight matchup. I just think you can't let a fourth quarter like that slip away the way that the Archers did, and not come out with your hair on fire in that first half. So. First half in this one, definitely Archers, and yeah, I mean they're probably at some point gonna fall apart, whether it's third or fourth quarter. If it's only a third quarter fall apart, then I like Archers to be able to hold on to that one. If it's another fourth quarter meltdown, then I might have to really sell stock in the Archers.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say this about the Chaos. I think defensively, I'm talking myself into them being the best defense in the league, just like their style, their continuity. I'm really, really high on this Chaos defense, especially when you have Blaze in there. The fact that they don't have to slide because of their goalie is a huge X factor for how far and how well this season goes for them. So, Chaos.
I don't think Blaze is going to be 100%, and I know Cout's a great goalie, but I don't think they're going to take Blaze out. I just think Blaze is going to need a week or two to get back to his top tier form, and for that reason, I'm going to take the Archers -1.5. I'll give those goals. I think they kind of come out and they play their best game of the season. So I'll be rooting for the Archers.
All right, that brings us into Sunday, another ABC game. Sunday, 12:30 p.m. We've got the Redwoods taking on the Atlas. Dukes, I don't really care what the numbers say in this one. I'm going Atlas. So, but you can give us the numbers anyway.
It's 2.5, and I'm going Redwoods.
Ooh, okay. Wasn't expecting the 2.5 there. But, no, I'm still going Atlas.
It goes back to, I'm not saying who's going to win or lose this game. All I'm saying is it's going to be a close one. I do think that if you're telling me what do the Redwoods do well? Well, obviously they have some outside shooters with somebody like Degnan. Again, Troutner from outside isn't the most spectacular goalie from outside shots, in my opinion. I think he's way better inside. So I do think that if you're going to try to knock Troutner off his game, and again, you do have Entman back there, but it's only 2 goals. I think this is going to be a 2-1 goal game. I'm not saying the Redwoods are going to win. What I'm saying is the Redwoods will keep it close. I like the Woods.
I'm saying that right now the Atlas have almost an impossible decision to make, because Tim Troutner has played great in his 3 games that he's had so far this season. But if there's anyone in the world who probably has Ryder Garnsey's number a little bit, it's Liam Entman, right? Like this is your chance to kind of like this is your trump card right here. Like this is where you can take a guy out of the game completely if you need to.
Or Ryder.
So do you?
Yeah. Or Ryder shells the fuck out of Entman, and then you just blew your rookie's confidence for the whole year. I'd keep him on the bench for that. I'd be scared that Garnsey's going to have his number. I'd say, listen, we're going Troutner no matter what. And if we need you, we'll play you. But you put him in and it goes down. It's like, shit, well, you put me in against the guy who's put up more shots on me than anyone in the entire world.
All right. Well, there we go. You guys just got mousetrapped because you guys were the ones who were banging the drum for Liam Entenmann to win the Tewaaraton. And now here you are saying, oh, you can't play him in this game because his assistant coach is going to shell him. If he was really that good, if you guys really thought that Liam Entenmann was the greatest goalie in the world, like you guys have said he was for 3 years now, then you'd be like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like put Lenton. No. No, I'm not going to time out. This is the clip. You guys are anti-Liam Entenmann. You guys are the biggest anti-Entenmann guys that I've ever met.
30 seconds. I said, or he gets shelled, which he wouldn't because he's the greatest goalie in the world.
Yeah.
It is. I want to say this about Timmy Troutner really quick. The way that he keeps playing so well, when there's just like any given moment, there's just a guy that's just knocking, waiting to get his chance, and probably if he didn't win a national championship, would be starting. All credit, because he's definitely like.
Yeah, I mean, Troutner has the toughest job in the league right now.
It's one of the most impressive.
Because you could even just play okay, like you could play fine, and still lose your job to Entenmann. Like he has to play great to keep it. So yeah, I mean, he's got a tough job. He's been doing great. I listen. Here's the thing: at the very least, he's getting an incredible scout on Garnsey from Entenmann.
Yeah. And I like the over in this one, by the way, over 26.5.
Yeah, I mean, also a great matchup there between Trevor Baptiste and TD Erlin. I feel like that one always ends up being a 50-50. So going to be a good face-off battle. I think that, Atlas have the clear advantage in cage. I think that Atlas have the clear advantage in overall offense. I think that, like you said, I mean, Dox is having one of those, he's just playing such fuck you lacrosse right now that, I don't think that Redwoods are going to be able to stop that. And even if you find a way to stop Dox, which again, another homecoming for Dox. I mean, he grew up right down the street from Villanova. I think he could probably spit on his house from the field. So, I think that this is just big Atlas roll.
Yeah.
Sneaky Redwoods. I'll be on the Woods.
+2.5.
Yeah. Final game of.
You'll be on a curse, not the Woods.
Dude, that's not fair because I do like the Woods in this one. And it's going to be hard to do the whole I only do the curse thing. They have every fucking team in the league covered next year, so
it's going to be tough to tell.
Fair.
Speaking of which, shout out Caden Curse, New Jersey State champ, right? With the boys and
yeah, down in Bernard's. He's playing in the newly named Cursed Cup, which is the Tournament of Champions of New Jersey, named after their late father, which is pretty cool that he's got. If he wins 2 more games, he'll be the winner of the Cursed Cup, which is the pure state champion of New Jersey, both public and private. So
I heard Bosco's not playing.
They cowered out. That's up to them. If you don't want to play in it, you don't want to play in it. But there's no other way to determine a state champion. One team did bow out, so I guess it was Bosco. There's 5 teams, so there's supposed to be 6.
Damn.
Maybe a selfish move by Bosco. I don't want to call him out, but potentially selfish.
I heard because they didn't want to play without their coaches. But Jordy, final game.
Final game of the weekend, we've got the Water Dogs playing in their second game of the week. They're taking on the Maryland Whipsnakes. Whipsnakes have been declared dead here on the Crease Dive. You heard it here first. So we've got a bunch of dead guys taking on the Water Dogs Sunday at 3 p.m. on ESPN+. Dukes, the numbers, please.
Water Dogs -1.5, -150 on the money line. Maryland +1.5, +120 on the Maryland money line.
Yep. And this right here, I've like the second game of the week that every team has to play in the homecoming, easily going to be the toughest game each week. I think, the Water Dogs are going to be playing a huge physical, emotional game against the Cannons. It's going to drain them a ton. The fact that they have to turn around and 26 and a half hours late. Oh, no, bad math guy. Not a good math guy. What is it? 26 and a half hours later, they have to turn around and play against a Whipsnakes team who's going to be famished for a win. I think they probably don't look ahead at the schedule too much, but you feel like they have to kind of understand that you need to get a win here soon, or else things are going to kind of roll away from you. So Whip Snakes are going to be desperate for a win. Water Dogs are going to be playing a physical, emotional game against the Cannons. Quick turnaround. I think that this is a tough spot for the Water Dogs.
I'm all over the Dogs here. Love the Dogs. I do not think there's any chance in hell they start 0-3. Or, even if they win like the first
one.
one.
I have them. I have them winning the Cannons game. So I guess that's
right. That's where I'm at. I just don't like
yeah.
if what my thought process is happens, I just don't think there's any way they finish 0-3. I also just think that this has always been a pretty good match. I don't know if I would have the Stones to take -1.5, but I do like them on the money line. I think that they are simply, again, like I kind of said in the beginning of the episode, I think they are simply a top 3 team in this league. I think from my opinion right now, I think it's the Atlas, the Dogs, and the Cannons. And then the Archers.
Okay, yeah. Real quick, I would agree with you in the sense where, like, my pick in this game kind of does depend on how that how the Cannons game plays out. Like, yeah, if they lose the Cannons game, then yeah, I think they come out here and they get their first win. They don't go 0-2. Like, I think the Water Dogs end up splitting this weekend in one way or another.
Yeah, I think also sweeps on the table because, again, like, I do think they beat the Whips, but I also think that legit, like, this is good. Like the Water Dogs Cannons game, if I could bet on this game going to overtime, I would.
Yeah, that game's going to be a battle. The more I'm thinking back on the last time they played in the Champ Series, and now there's just so much more room for them to fucking kill each other.
And you're adding in like a Zach Courier who will get in the mix with these players and will remember what they did to Sowers. Like, I don't know. It's almost like we're talking myself back into the Dogs. So we'll see. Come Saturday, I'll let everybody know what I officially took, but like, I do know this: Zach Courier will win the fight.
I love that. I think the Water Dogs go 1-1 as well. I think they're gonna win on Sunday after a tough loss on Saturday. But the more we talk about it, the more I'm just so excited for that 12:30 game on Saturday.
Trying to see like what the scores were last year. I remember like 2 years ago it was the Water Dogs beat them to go to the championship. I can't find scores from years before, but whatever. Can't find it right now.
All right. Well, I mean, those are the 4 games that we got this weekend at Villanova University. 2 games this weekend on ABC, which is huge. All of them will be streaming on ESPN Plus. I'll have boots on the ground for the first game. Ness will be there all weekend long. Frank the Tank will be there all weekend long. Dana Beers will be there all weekend long. So if you are in the area, it's going to be the place to be. If not, make sure that we are catching them on just turn those broadcasts. I mean, dude, there's ABC games. If you're down the shore, if you find yourself at a bar, tell the bar, hey, throw on ABC, right? If you're at some friend's house, boom, ABC. It's easy enough to find, right? You just hit probably like 3, 6, or 4, like whatever channel it is over there. So easy enough to find. Before we wrap this thing up, I do have one quick shout out. Willie Robinson. You guys see this story?
So sick.
Yeah.
So Willie Robinson, he's a junior on the Scituate boys lacrosse team. He's going to be heading to Army to play after he graduates. So Willie Robinson, sick player, going to get a chance to see him play for 4 years up at West Point. But unfortunate, his old man passed away suddenly last week. So, his old man was not only his dad, but also an assistant coach with the Scituate team. And this is a Scituate team that already lost an assistant coach earlier in the year. So this is a team that's been battling this year. So, tough season for them, but the boys are persevering. And, the next game after his dad passed, he ended up having 5 goals in the quarterfinal game to keep Scituate going. They go into the semifinal game. They play against, so this is a Massachusetts school where I don't really know the pronunciation of this one. Falmouth. Okay, I was way off on that one. I got Scituate right though, so I'm good on that one. But Scituate versus Falmouth, 12-11 final in overtime. Willie Robinson has 5 goals in regulation, and he ends up scoring the overtime game winner just 5 days after his dad passed. So great story of perseverance, a great story of the medicine game coming through, teammates coming through. great story about community coming through. So just wanted to make sure that we gave a quick shout out to Willie Robinson and the Scituate team. Their state championship for the D3 final is going to be Friday, I believe. So obviously the Crease Dive's pulling for those boys.
Yeah. I love Scituate. I love the spit. If anybody's from Mass, they'll know what I'm talking about. Spit rocks. So, yeah, that's an amazing story. I know you wrote a blog about it. I read it earlier. It was awesome. Jordy is a very, very good writer. So go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually going to congratulate that kid on his performance and also his honorable mention. Curse of the week, Willie Robinson, first high school player to ever get an honorable mention. Curse of the week. Second honorable mention, Colin Curse, great performance last week, his first of the year, tip of the cap. But, I mean, this man, people tried to write him off. People tried to pretend we didn't like him. Brennan O'Neill, congrats on your first ever Curse of the Week winner. That's a grown man.
Willie Robinson didn't win?
No. He
dude. Oh my God. Wait, I thought you said oh my God, this is brutal.
No.
Oh my God.
Willie Robinson will be getting a Curse of the Week shirt though, so I'll be sending Willie Robinson shirt. And if Brennan O'Neill wants one, he can have one. So
wait, no.
Is it honorable mention's huge? Honorable mention is big.
Big.
Oh, you got to think about what it takes to even get into the conversation of a KITW. So
I might have to give him the Entman of the Week award.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's eligible for other awards. This award doesn't strap. We're not going to Joey Chestnut him from the Curse of the Week if he gets another award. So,
damn, I feel like my heart's like shattered right now. Damn.
No, don't do that to me. The committee will talk about it. They'll review it.
And there's still time for Willie Robinson and the boy to pick up a Curse of the Week winning proper after they win a state championship on Friday. Yeah. So still time.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's all I got. That's all. I'm really left speechless that Willie Robinson didn't win.
Yeah. Well. Me as well. So make sure we're going to wrap this one up. Make sure you guys are following us. We are at the Crease Dive on all socials. We're Stool Crease Dive on TikTok. Make sure that you are subscribed on Rumble and YouTube. Make sure that, tell your friends, tell your family. We're getting into the thick of it in PLL season. So let's see if we can juice those numbers up a little bit. And in the meantime, we'll be keeping it low to high till the day we die. See everyone at Villanova. We out.